Hello, good afternoon, good afternoon. It's a bright day ahead, no doubt. Again on Relationship Gist. Relationship Gist. Relationship Gist. We talk about things around relationship. Okay, good afternoon. Yesterday we had a great time, and then someone asked a question. I believe that question may reflect certain views and opinions or even persuasion of individual. And this is the question. He said that he enjoyed the bit I shared with them yesterday. You remember we were here yesterday on Relationship Gist when I was asking whether you love your spouse. And I'm sure the answer to that was in the affirmative. But when we now started out asking various questions, parameters, the platform or precipice on which you stand, you will be able to say categorically yes or no. And so someone said, whose job is it to cook at home? Whose job is it to cook at home? Whose responsibility it is to cook at home? I don't know if that agrees with you. You may want to share with your friends the share button so that they could join us in this discourse. Whose job is it to cook at home? Now, I gave a bit to him and I want to share the aspect that I know. The truth is, if it is about job and or responsibility, it is the man. But if the man is wise, he can decide to delegate. Now, but again, every delegated work, somebody is responsible for it. There's an overall head who should know how it goes. You know, scriptures on one hand, culture on another hand. When there is a conflict between culture and scripture, that culture must bow. So we use the Bible as our own compass. It is not good for the man to dwell alone. That means the man was doing something alone. Then the next thing is, I will provide a helpmate, not I will provide a replacement. I will provide someone who should help, a female counterpart who should help. Some people have proved that they are of equal capacity. That's not the subject for consideration today. But our area of concern is the fact that whose job is it? My brother, if you are listening to me, it is your job. So you are to provide an enabling environment for your wife if you have assigned her to cook for you, to be able to cook. And please underline enabling environment. You know, sometimes both of you work and you are aware of that. You work in the office, you come back about the same time. We even have some men, they will come back before their wives. To put water on the fire is difficult to do because the cook has not come. And who do they consider to be the cook? Their wives. All in the name of they have provided, the bread, the water, and then the money. The Bible says, if a man cannot take care of his family, he's worse than an infidel. So you are not a slave driver. Whose job is it? It is your job. But you are privileged by God to be helped by another, but not to lord it over another. Whose job is it? I don't know where you're coming from. We come from particularly of West African nations, Nigeria, and then in Nigeria it's broken down to several regions and the rest. Whose job is it to pound yam? Whose job is it to grind pepper? Whose job is it to cook? It is primarily your job, sir, as the head of the family. If the delegation is poor, then it is also your job to ensure that you create an enabling environment for the job to be better. Which is why it doesn't matter what anybody tells you. It's your job to cook. If you need something to cook for you, you know what to do. I've always said it. Whose job is it to wash? Maybe wash clothes. Whose job is it? It is the man. But of course, the man, if he's wise enough, he can also look for somebody who can help, which is the wife. If you need a cook, you can rent one, but not your wife. You can even buy one if you choose to, but not your wife. If you need someone that will help wash your whatever you want to wash, there's what we call washing machine you can buy. And if it must be your wife that will help you wash, then you must be there to create an enabling environment. Don't overwork her. Particularly if you know that there will be some other work you will want her to help you do. Whether in the daytime or at night. I think many of the times they wait for digging deep is usually from evening time. You go around Jerusalem because you have a witness. You move around Judea, Samaria. And then if you will go far in life to the uttermost part, with this same wife, you must create an enabling environment. So whose job is it? It's a partnership of some sort. Both of you are on that cruise. Ensure that you know her strength and her capability, and at what time. So you should learn one or two things around the kitchen. Whose job is it? Haven't you had situations where it is the same woman that is trying to wash clothes, items of clothing, and also cooking at the same time? They call that multitasking, all right? And then the food gets burnt, and the man starts lamenting. You can't even cook common food. Whose job is it? Hope you are aware it's not house help. But let me quickly do a flip. Before our sisters, we now have Liberation Association of Nigeria. If a woman is so trained and disciplined to know the mission she has for a vision of the man, she will cook, she will plan, she will wash. She can even bath the man if she has all the time, because it's part of helping this person. Now, we are only saying that the job primarily, fundamentally, is that of the man. Okay? The job is that of the man. Okay? But then the man can now decide to ensure that he assigns some to the helper. He assigns some to the helper. And the principal help or helper is the wife. But that does not mean the wife has now become a slave of some sort. I hope that explains in depth to that individual and to some who shares the view that if I go out, you see, there's another area you can give an enabling environment. Tell your wife not to work. Housewife. So while you are going to bring in the money, she's at home doing the house issues. Yeah, but if she will work, and then she will bring the money on the table or on the chair or wherever you want to keep the money, or in the bank that you want to access. Somebody applauded what we said yesterday about joint account unrestrained access and said, now I thank God my wife heard it. That's true. But of course, we must be responsible in the discharge of our duties and responsibilities. We must be wise in doing what we do. If you are going to send this woman to go and do some job, and most women would like to work, and you approve of it, because if you will not approve of it, some upkeep, some salary, certain things that will make life easy, she will not need to ask you everything. Money for soap. So when our soap finishes, you ask. When this finishes, you ask. There's certain money that should be in the hand of your wife. It will reduce the headache that you have been using paracetamol for that has not gone. So give her that money, and then life continues. So whose job is it? If we agree that we are married, then let's say fundamentally for all of us, principally for the man, but by the law of delegation for the woman. And because the woman came out of the man must be wise enough not to overdrive. You see, even in the world of animals, Jacob said to his twin brother Esau, he said, if we overdrive them, they will die one day. If we overdrive them, they will die. They will all die one day. So if you overdrive your spouse in the name of cook in the morning, cook in the afternoon. Somebody even told me that in a good home, your wife should wake you up with breakfast. What are you doing that you are sleeping so much? Can't wake up. Let us be responsible about the way we do some of these things. If you have called somebody to come and help you, want to kill him with work, he should help. So if he's using one hand, you are using two hands. But if you now decide to use one, that's a problem with the way we relate to house helps. Now, particularly in the world of ladies. Some house help will wake up 3 a.m. and they probably slept around 1 a.m. or 12 midnight. And they must wake up 3 a.m. Now, but you see, nature is so humorous. Most of these house helps, they now end up better than the children of the kingdom, or of the parents, so to speak. So the more you push so many things on your wife to do in cooking, the day she will travel, or the day she will born for hospital, and say, Mama don't born, if you come home today, you go and buy bread. I think you should learn some of these things and encourage others to follow suit. Whose job is it? When you define this, it makes you a man, not a boy. It makes you to be very responsible in your area of calling, in whatever you do. Whose job is it? This is much I would like to share with you. Again, I don't know who may want to ask another question. I'll bring it up here for us to share together. And of course, you will see that it is my own handle that I'm using to share with us. You can also share your own, and life goes on. This is relationship gist. If I know what to do, my home is better, your home is better, then life becomes better. The church, the religious organization becomes better. Whose job is it? It is your job as a man. That's why you are head. Nobody ever blames the leg for hitting it. Somebody sends the signal. The head sends the signal. The brain sends the signal. It is the signal you send that signals your strength or your weakness. So as a man, I think you should reduce the way you go about talking about your wife. She's this, she's that. No, it is your responsibility. If she's not carrying out the job, then you can come on a round table and ask yourself, haven't I been doing my own bit? What then can I do to make her do her own bit? She may not understand, and until she understands you, life becomes a bit difficult. Have you ever been in a mathematics class and they ask you to wipe the board several times? I remember when we were still using chalk. We will wipe the board. The first time I happened to be the class rep, or I don't know who I was representing at the time. I wiped the board the first time, the second time, and we had double period. Whatever that means to you now. 2 periods at the same time, locked up together. And at the end of the day, our answer was 0 in the mathematics class. I was beginning to suspect my teacher. The second week, we had the same man, double period. Our answer too was -5. Can you imagine that? Having to wipe the board. So I didn't understand all of the gist. Later in life, I got to realize some of these issues. So if your wife does not understand you, make her understand what she needs to understand. It is your responsibility. She has only come to help you. And if you are wise as a woman, you will always know what to do. Help your husband so that he too can be of help to you. Your life will never remain the same when you learn to do things correctly. It shall end in praise. Good afternoon.